accused. But what do you do when the offenders are just children themselves? Punishing a juvenile sex offender is handled very differently than it is for adult offenders. New at 11, Colleen Wells joins us live from the Juvenile Justice Center downtown. Colleen, this type of crime happens more than some people may think.
Yeah, absolutely, Jerry. You know, just last year here in Lucas County, 160 of these juvenile sex offender cases were handled by Lucas County Children's Services. Now, there's a lot of debate going on right now just how to treat these juvenile sex offenders. A lot of them are victims of sexual abuse themselves. Well, here at the court, there is a plan. In fact, the court system here follows state recommendations, but some parents, they say it's just not enough. It's every parent's dream for their children to grow up healthy, happy, and whole. So imagine the nightmare when the innocence of childhood is robbed by another child.
I trusted him. I used to live right down the street, across the street from my mother, across the street from my grandmother. I never thought he would do anything.
Mother of 5, Christina Ball struggles, even breaks down as she tells how she learned her 4-year-old daughter was molested by her 16-year-old cousin while he babysat.
My son said that my daughter and my cousin were kissing and hugging in the basement. And at first I didn't think nothing of it. I said they was, and they said yeah. And when he said, everybody shut up, my heart dropped.
But Christina says what makes it worse is the way her daughter's abuser was treated by the court system.
Since he's only 16, they pretty much didn't do nothing. He got temporary probation and, well, I believe house arrest. You don't have to register as a sex offender. You don't have to do nothing. So once he turns 18, nobody will ever know.
Her story amazingly similar to her neighbor, Lydia Halhofer, whose 4-year-old daughter was also molested by a teenaged family member.
He did do maybe a month in the juvenile detention center. But he also got 30 days house arrest, 6 months probation, and therapeutic counseling.
An adult convicted of a sex offense against a child faces years behind bars and must register as a sexual offender. Well, some parents say 16, that's plenty old enough to know right from wrong, and those children should be punished just the same. But some juvenile sex offender experts say these cases are treated so differently because they are very different. These juvenile sex offenders, they say, do not present the same type of threat.
The statistic right now is that the number of sex offending kids who are likely to have become predators is between 2 and 3%. So the vast majority of kids that this court and other courts would see on a sex offense charge do not have predatory behavior.
Stuart Berry is a juvenile sex offender expert. He's been hired by the county to implement a groundbreaking intense treatment program for young offenders. Kids in the program meet twice a week for up to 2 years. Berry realizes for a victim's parent, treatment instead of prison can be a tough punishment to accept. But he points to research that shows it keeps the community safer in the long run.
We can send this youngster away for the maximum amount of time. As a juvenile, that typically means maximally till 21 and typically not that long based on guidelines. So they will be back in the community. And if we send them away, if we incarcerate them, we are increasing the likelihood that will reoffend. So not only is your child more at risk, but other children are more at risk as well.
Berry says when treated, fewer than 5% of juvenile sex offenders reoffend. But for parents like Christina, that's little consolation for what has forever been taken from her daughter.
They talk about it. I've caught my daughter in a driveway, riding her bike, talking like on a payphone, talking about it, just acting like she's talking to somebody. It hurts.
Now, less than 5% of juvenile offenders who come through the courts here are considered dangerous. The courts say that they are likely to reoffend. Those kids do have to register, and they also face harsher penalties. Now, the victims that you just saw in that story, they are in counseling. Reporting live in downtown Toledo, Colleen Wells, News 11.